Good day, everyone. Today we're going to discuss the other types of trigonometric identities. So for this morning or for this day, we are going to discuss the sum and difference identities. To start with, if you can observe on the diagrams in our right, the uppermost is actually the sine wave. Okay, and I believe that we are already somehow, I introduced to you the sine wave. As you can see on the other kind of waves, somehow they are similar. So you have the square, the triangle, and the sawtooth. So again, these are the most common forms of waveform, okay, which is the sine wave, or also known as the sinusoidal wave, that is represented by the equation you have here: y is equal to a sine omega t plus phi. Here, the omega is actually the frequency, the t is the time, and the phi there, okay, just for emphasis, for phi here, okay, this is the what they call this one, the phase. Here is this one is omega, which implies the frequency. Okay, now if you notice that this in the sine function, okay, it is the sum of two expressions. So how are we going to illustrate the expression like this? So for we can use the trigonometric identities, which is called the sum and difference identities. So for in this discussion, we are going to have how we can use the sum and difference identities to solve problems. Okay. So again, how can we derive the different sum and different identities using the unit circle? So here, as we can see here, now this is let's start with the cosine sum and difference identity. So as you can see here, we have two angles. So angle A, okay, is larger compared to angle B. Now, the terminal point for the angle A is P sub 4, okay, which has the coordinates of sine A, sine B, cosine A, sine A. Now, take note that in our previous discussion, the the x, okay, the x coordinate can be expressed as sine cosine A, okay, where A is the angle, so we have here, and the y coordinate can be expressed as sine A, in which the A again is the angle. Another is we have the angle B, which is uh what I call this one, smaller compared to our angle A. So here, uh, point 3, okay, which is the terminal point for the angle B, okay, has the coordinates of cosine B, sine B. Now, if we are going to subtract these two angles because angle A is greater than angle B, now if we are going to subtract, we have here the second point, P sub 2, okay, which has the coordinates of cosine A minus B, sine A minus B. So as we can see here, the angle for the cosine and angle for the sine is in the form of a difference. So you have angle A minus angle B. Now take note, okay, that since they are on the same, these terminal sides of the different angles are on the, what we call this one, in the unit circle, and the radius or the radii rather are all equal. So as we can see here that this triangle, okay, is, okay, equal to this triangle. So in other words, this is actually the A minus B, okay, in which we are just what we call this one, translate the triangle into our first quadrant. So this triangle is equal to this triangle. Okay. Now, uh, as we can see here, okay, the distance of P1 to P2, okay, is equal to the distance of P3 to P4. Okay. So this is where we can derive the cosine difference identities. Okay, so the cosine sum and difference identities would be, you have here that a cosine A plus B is equal to cosine A cosine B minus sine A sine B. And the cosine A minus B is equal to cosine A cosine B plus sine A sine B. So this would be our identity. So again, the sum, okay, if you have cosine A plus B, that would be equal to cosine A cosine B minus sine A sine B. And then the cosine A minus B is equal to cosine A cosine B plus sine A sine B. Okay. Now, using the cosine difference identity, we can determine the relationship between the sine and cosine, the tangent and cotangent, and the secant and cosecant. So these are the what we call as the co-function identities. Okay, so these would be the co-function identities. So you have here that the sine b is equal to cosine pi over 2 minus b, and the cosine b is equal to sine pi over 2 minus b. So we have another identity. So on the previous slide, we have the sum and difference of cosine. Here, we have here the co-function identity. So sine b is equal to cosine 1 half pi over 2 minus b, and cosine b is equal to sine pi over 2 minus b. Another, we have the tangent b, which is equal to cotangent pi over 2 minus b, and the cotangent b is equal to tangent pi over 2 minus b. For the second, we have the secant b is equal to cosecant pi over 2 minus b, and the cosecant b is equal to secant pi over 2 minus b. So these are the cofunction identities. So using the cosine sum and difference identities, we can determine the sine sum and difference identities. So here, as we can see, you have here the sine a plus b, which is equal to sine a cosine b plus cosine a sine b. And sine a minus b is equal to sine a cosine b minus cosine a sine b. So as we can see, the difference of the cosine sum and difference and sine sum and difference is actually the structure of its identities. Remember that when we have the cosine, for example, cosine a plus b, that is cosine a cosine b minus sine a sine b. However, in the sine, for example, you have sine a plus b, you have here partners. We have the sine and cosine as partners. So you have sine a cosine b, and then you have cosine a sine b. That would be also the same to the what we call this one, the sine difference. So you have sine a minus b, that's equal to sine a cosine b minus cosine a sine b. Okay, moreover, the tangent sum and difference identities can be determined using the sum and difference identities. So we have here the tangent A plus B, that's equal to tangent A plus B all over 1 minus tangent A tangent B. And the tangent A minus B, that's equal to tangent A minus tangent B all over 1 plus tangent A tangent B. Okay. Now, you may use any combination with special angles to find the exact value of the cosine and sine of an angle that is not special. Okay. For example, if we have here, okay, so verify the identity of 2 pi plus x, that's equal to tangent x. Now, to do this, as we can see here, that the left side, okay, is somehow complicated as compared to the right side. So we are going to transform the left side because somehow it's complicated in the angles are in form of the sum. Now, so the left side for our solution, so we are going to use the left side, which is the tangent 2 pi plus x. Now, as we can see here, okay, the angle in this tangent is in the form of sum. So in other words, we can now use our sum, okay, angle sum. So take note here that our A is equal to our 2 pi and our B is our x. So we can now substitute Okay, the formula, take note that because this is a tangent, so you have tangent A plus tangent B all over 1 minus tangent A tangent B. So in this case, we have the tangent, our A is 2 pi, plus tangent, our B is x, all over, you have 1 minus tangent 2 pi tangent x. Okay, now in this case, okay, after we have the substitution of formula, we can recall that our uh, tangent, okay, tangent theta can be expressed as sine theta over cosine theta. Okay, now take note that in this portion, we have 2 pi, meaning this is a full revolution. Okay, so in other words, I will just change the uh, pointer pen, and let's try to have another color. Okay, now take note that you have uh, tangent 2 pi can be expressed as sine 2 pi over cosine 2 pi. Now take note that our sine, okay, is the x coordinate, and the cosine is the uh, wrong. Sine is the y coordinate and cosine is the x coordinate. Now take note that this would be the coordinates of the terminal point. Okay, for example, just for illustration, if you have a unit circle, okay, and then we started with our initial point, which is at 1, 0. Since it's a full revolution because it's a 2 pi, meaning the terminal point also is the initial point. So this is 1, 0. Now again, take note that our sine is the, what they call this one, the y, and the cosine is our, what they call this one, our x coordinates. In other words, we can now substitute, okay, you have 0 over 1, which is equal to 0. So in other words, we can now, what they call this one, we can replace our tangent theta with 0. Okay, plus tangent x over 1 minus 2, tangent 2 pi is 0 times tangent x. Okay, so anything that is multiplied by 0 is equal to 0. So in other words, you have tangent x over 1, which is equal to tangent x. So in this case, we have shown that the tangent 2 pi plus x is equal to tangent x. So in other words, we have now our what we call this one, solution. So since the left side is equal to the right side, so we can say that the tangent 2 pi plus x is equal to tangent x. Okay. So another is we have to show that the what we call this one, the secant x plus y is equal to secant x secant y all over 1 minus tangent x tangent y. We have to show that these are identity. Okay. Now, as we can see here, the right side is somehow complicated compared to the left side. So we are going now to transform the right side, okay, until such that it would be the same with our left hand side. Okay, so again, we are going to start in the right hand side because it contains multiple trigonometric function, which is somehow complicated. Okay, not complicated, somehow it looks like complicated. Okay, so let's start with the right side. So you have, for our solution, so you have uh, secant x, secant y, all over 1 minus tangent x, tangent y. Okay, now, what do you call this one? We have to, what do you call this one? Um, as we can observe that both numerator and denominator is somehow, uh, somehow like they are not expressed into sine and cosine. So in this case, let's try to um, substitute the second with the expression with sine or cosine, and then the denominator must be in the form of sine cosine. Okay. Now take note that our what we call this one, our numerator is second, so meaning we can uh, convert this one as 1 over uh, cosine x, and then the other one would be 1 over uh, cosine cosine y. Let me just delete this one. Cosine y all over, you have 1 minus our tangent. Okay, our tangent would be sine over cosine. Okay, so you have uh, sine x, sine y all over cosine x, cosine y. Now let's try to combine the denominator. Okay, so you have 1 over cosine x, cosine y, all over, you have uh, cosine x, cosine y, you have uh, cosine x, cosine y, minus sine x, sine y. Okay. Now, for this case, we can multiply the numerator by the reciprocal of the denominator. So you have 1 over cosine x, cosine y, multiplied by cosine x, cosine y, all over cosine x, cosine y, minus sine x, sine y. So we can divide out this one. So what we have here is you have 1 over cosine x, cosine y, minus sine x, sine y. Okay, so if you can notice with the denominator, cosine x, cosine y minus sine x, sine y, this is actually an identity. If you can still remember with our previous slide. So we can substitute it with our identity. So you have 1 over the cosine x, cosine y minus sine x, sine y, that is equal to cosine, the sum of uh, cosine sum angle. So you can have cosine x plus y. Now, since you have the reciprocal, it is in the reciprocal form, then the take note that the reciprocal of cosine is secant. So in other words, this is just equal to secant x plus y. And this is now our final answer. So as we can see here, we have shown that the right side is equal to the left side. So the left side is equal to the right side. So we can say that secant x plus y is equal to secant x secant y all over 1 minus tangent x tangent y. So we can now form another identity. Okay, so let's have another example. So if the sine is equal to 1/5 and cosine b is equal to negative 3/4, where a and b are both in the quadrant 2, find the sine a minus b. Now, in this case, as we can see, based on our what they call this one in the problem, that both sine a and sine and cosine b are in the quadrant 2. So if we can still recall with the properties of the quadrant 2, so you have negative positive as the what they call this one, the the attributes of the points. So in other words, since it is a negative positive, so for our solution, okay, so our solution, since it is in the quadrant 2, uh, sine A, sine is positive, cosine is, let's say, cosine A is negative. So in other words, the tangent is, since the tangent is equal to uh, sine over cosine, then it is negative. Okay, so we have to bear that one in our mind. Okay, now what would be the thing that we need to do? Now, we have cosine A, we have sine A, but we don't have the cosine A. So, wrong. We have the sine A, but we don't have the sine B, the cosine A rather. So we have to use the, what we call this one? We have to use the Pythagorean. Okay, so you have sine A squared, sine squared, sine squared A plus cosine squared A is equal to 1. So substitute, so you have 1/5 quantity squared plus cosine squared A, which is equal to 1. So in other words, our cosine A is equal to the, you have 1 minus 1 over 25 and then square root. That is plus minus. So simplify, since you have 1 minus 1 over 25, the 1 here can be substituted by 25 over 25. So 25 minus 1 is equal to 24. So you have 24 minus over 25. You have the plus minus square root. Now the 24 can be expressed as 4 times 6. So the 4 there can be, what do you call this one? Can be um, extracted. So you have square root of 4 is 2. So you have 2 square root of 6 all over the square root of 25 is 5. Now take note that it is on the second quadrant. So in other words, our cosine is negative. So this is our cosine A. Now, let's try to have the sine B. Okay, using the same structure, so you have sine squared B plus cosine squared B is equal to 1. Then you have sine squared B plus you have negative 3/4 quantity squared, that's equal to 1. In other words, our sine B is equal to 1 minus 9 over 16 square root. So in this case, you have the 1 here can be transformed as 9 over 9, 16 over 16 rather. So 16 minus 9, that's equal to 7. So you have uh, 7 over 16 plus minus, this is square root, which is just equal to, since the sign here is a positive, because in the second quadrant, so we have square root of 7 over 4. And this is our sine B. So we already have now our sine A, sine B, cosine A, cosine B. So we can now substitute our, what I call this one, we can now substitute this one to the, what I call this one, the difference, okay, of, what I call this one, identity, sign difference, angle difference of the sign. So you have sine A minus B is equal to, you have sine A cosine B minus cosine A sine B. So substitute, our sine A is 1/5. Our cosine B is negative 3/4 minus our cosine A is negative 2 square root of 6 over 5, and our sine B is square root of 7 over 4. So here you have negative 3 over 20. Negative times negative is positive. So you have what? You have 6 times 7 is 42. So you have 2 square root of 42 over 20. So simplify, we could have negative 3 plus 2 square root of 42 over 20. And this is now our final answer. Okay, so you have negative 3 plus 2 square root of 42 over 20. Okay, so an alternative method of solving for cosine A, cosine B is by drawing the corresponding triangles in the coordinate plane, given that our sine A is 1 over 5, meaning that, take note that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So our opposite side, opposite to the angle A is 1 and the hypotenuse is 5. And then cosine B, that is adjacent over hypotenuse. So our adjacent, okay, adjacent side to angle B is 3 and the hypotenuse is 4. So where A and B are both in the quadrant 2. Okay. So let's have another example. So if the secant u is equal to 5 over 2 and the cosecant v is equal to negative 8 over 5, where u is greater than or equal to 3 pi over 2 but less than or equal to 2 pi, and the v is greater than or equal to pi but less than or equal to 3 pi over 2, what is the exact value of tangent u minus v? Now, first thing that we have to look into is properties of our u and our v. Now take note that since the u is greater than equal to 3 pi over 2 but less than equal to 2 pi, so it means to say that the angle is in the what? It is in the fourth quadrant. So this is in the fourth quadrant because the u is greater than equal to 3 pi over 2 but less than equal to 2 pi. So it is in the fourth quadrant. So since it's in the fourth quadrant, then we could have the properties would be what? You have positive, negative, meaning that the sign is negative, the cosine is positive, and the tangent is negative because you have what? Sine over cosine. So negative divided by positive, that's equal to negative. And take note that the sine is the y coordinate and the cosine is the x coordinate. The same true with our v here. The properties of our v, it is located in the third quadrant because it is greater than equal to pi but less than equal to 3 pi over 2. So it means to say that the properties here would be negative, negative. So in this case, we can say that our sine is negative, our cosine is negative, and our tangent is positive because sine over cosine, negative divided by negative is equal to positive. Okay. Now, let's look into our values. Okay. Now, you have second u. Now, take note that what? Cosine u is equal to 1 over second u. So it means to say that this is 2 over 5. So meaning our cosine u is equal to 2 over 5. Okay. If that would be the case, then we can now have the we can now determine the sine. Okay. We can now determine the what do you call this one? The sine. So you have what? You have sine sine squared u plus cosine squared u is equal to 1. So sine squared u plus you have 2 over 5 squared is equal to 1. So it implies that our sine u is equal to 1 minus 4 over 25 square root. Since the u is in the fourth quadrant, then this is negative. Because here, okay, u is in the fourth quadrant, sine is negative. So you have the negative square root of, again, the 1 here can be replaced by 25 over 25. So 25 minus 4 is 21 over 25. In other words, you have negative square root of 21 over 5. And this is now our sine u. Okay. Now, in this case, we can now determine our tangent u. Take note that tangent u is equal to sine u over cosine u.
our sine u is negative square root of 21 over 5. And our cosine u is equal to 2 over 5. So you have negative square root of 21 over 5 multiply by the reciprocal to the denominator, so that is 5 over 2. So divide out, what we have here is you have negative square root of 21 over 2. So this is now our tangent u. So what we are now going to look for is our tangent v. So same concept for the tangent v. Take note that what sine v is equal to 1 over cosecant. So in other words, this is equal to negative 5 over 8. Now using the Pythagorean, so you have now sine squared v plus cosine squared v, that's equal to 1. So you have negative 5 over 8 quantity squared plus cosine squared v, that's equal to 1. So in other words, our cosine v is equal to 1 plus minus, this is 25 over 64 square root. Now take note, because it is in the third quadrant, the properties of the points in the third quadrant is negative, negative, meaning the cosine is negative. Okay. So that is equal to negative 64. 1 can be replaced by 64 over 64. 64 minus 25, that's equal to 39 over square root of 64 is equal to 8. So this is now our cosine v. Now we can now determine our tangent v, which is equal to sine v over cosine v, which is equal to, our sine is negative 5 over 8 over our cosine is negative square root of 39 over 8. So in other words, you have negative 5 over 8 multiplied by 8 over negative square root of 39. So the negative can be divided out, the 8 can be divided out. So in other words, our, what do you call this one? Our tangent is equal to 5 over square root of 39. We can rationalize the denominator because the denominator is what is in the what do you call this one, radicals. So we can multiply both numerator and denominator by square root of 39. So if we are going to multiply the numerator and denominator by square root of 39, so you have what? You have 5 square root of 39 over 39. And this is now our tangent v. Now, so we have already our what? Our values of our tangent and tangent u and tangent v. Okay. Now take note. Okay, let's try to get into. Okay, take note that tangent u minus v is equal to uh, tangent u minus tangent v all over 1 minus, plus rather, plus tangent u tangent v. So, substitute. So, our tangent u is square root of a negative square root of 21 over 2. Okay, so you have negative uh, square root of 21 over 2 minus our tangent v is 5 square root of 39 over 39. So you have 5 square root of 39 over 39. And the same we did our denominator. So you have 1 plus, you have negative square root of 21 over 2 multiplied by 5 square root of 39 over 39. So in this case, in the numerator, the LCD between 2 and 39 is 78. So we can now have the numerator as you have 78. So 78 divided by 2 is 39. So you have negative 39 square root of 21 minus what? 78. Am I correct? Yes. 78 divided by 39 is 2 times 5. That's equal to 10. Square root of 39. All over, you have what? We have to simplify the denominator. Now take note here that we have 2 and 39. This is 79. So this, in other words, this is what? This is 78. Then 21 times 39 is 819. Okay, so let's try to write na lang ha. So you have 1 plus, let's replace it with minus. Minus because negative, positive times negative is negative. So minus, you have 78. Then you have 5 square root of 21 times 39 is equal to 819. So simplify. So you have negative 39 square root of 21 minus 10 square root of 39 over 78 all over, you have 1 minus 800 819. Okay, so what? The 819 can be expressed as 9 times 91. So you have square root of 9 is 3, so you have 15 square root of 91 over 78. Now, in this case, 15 and 78 has a common. So that would be by what? By 3. So 78, 78 divided by 3 is 26. And then 15 divided by 3 is equal to 5. So in other words, you have negative 39 square root of 21 minus 10 square root of 39 over, you have 1 minus 3 square root of 91 over, you have 26. Now we can combine the denominator. Oh, I forgot to write the 78. Wait for a while. So this one over 78 all over 1 minus 3 square root of 91 over 26. Now in this case, you have negative 39 square root of 21 minus 10 square root of 39 over 78 all over. Now you have what? You have 1. So that would be 26 over 26. So we can have 26 minus not 3, this should be 5. Let me check. This must be 5 because we just divided by 3. So this is 5. So this is 26 minus 5 square root of 91 over 26. So in other words, we could have what? Negative 39 square root of 21 minus 10 square root of 39 over 78 times 26 over, you have 26 minus 5 square root of 91. In this case, 78 and 26, you had 78 divided by 26, that's equal to 3. So here this is 3. So you have negative 39 square root of 21 minus 10 square root of 39 over, you have 3 times 26 minus 5 square root of 91. Okay, now in this case, let's try to multiply the numerator and denominator by the conjugate. So you have 26 minus 5 square root of 91. So we can multiply numerator and denominator by the conjugate. So we can multiply it by the conjugate. So you have 26 plus 5 square root of 91 over 26 plus 5 square root of 91. So you have what? In the denominator, so for the denominator, you have what? 26 squared minus 5 square root of 91 squared times 3. Okay, so you have 26 squared is 676. Okay. 3 times 26 times 26 is equal to 676 minus, because it's what called uh, sum of difference. Okay, so you have what, uh 20 5 times 5 is 25 times 91 is equal to 2,000 2,275. Okay, now for the numerator, uh how we are going to have the numerator. 39, negative 39 square root of 21 times 26, that's equal to what? Negative 1014 square root of 21. Then uh, you have uh, then negative square root of 39 square root of 21 times 5 square root of 91. That's negative what? Uh, 195 square root of 1011. So that is 7 square root of 39. So you have what? 1365 square root of 39. Then you have 10 square root of uh, negative 10 square root of 39 times 26. That's equal to what? Uh, you have 260 square root of 39. And then the last one is negative 10 square root of 39 times 5 square root of 91. So what? This is negative 53,549. So that is 13 square root of 21. So you have 650 square root of 21. Okay. So we can now simplify. Okay. We can now simplify. So what? Combine. So 1014 plus 650. Am I correct? So that is 1,664, negative 1,664 square root of 21 minus, you have what? Uh, 1,365 plus 260, that is 1,625 square root of 39 all over, you have 676 minus 2,275 times 3, that's negative what? 4,797. So in other words, okay, in other words, what? They are both what? Divisible by 13. You have negative 13 times, you have 128. Yeah, 128 square root of 21 plus 125. 125 square root of 39. This is 13. Sorry, this is 39. Let me rewrite that one. So you have negative 13 times what? 128 square root of 21 plus 1,625 divided by 13. That's equal to 125 square root of 39 all over. You have negative 13 times 4,797 divided by 13. That's equal to 369. 369. So divide out, our final answer would be 128 square root of 21 plus 125 square root of 39 all over 369. And this is now our final answer. As we can see, the denominator is already in uh, what? In the whole number. Okay. Now, as you can see here, it is somehow in the final answer here. It's not yet not yet in the what? In the uh, simplest form. But still, this is just the same with what we had in our previous slide. Okay, so I guess this would be the end of our discussion. So with that, um, kindly study this one because we're going to have our um, this is included in our examination. So keep safe, everyone. Okay, God bless.